So I always say I had one accidental rental while I was pregnant, and that's what really led me into self-storage when I was with you and my little belly. And so I think thinking bigger, and when you want to start a family or when you are pregnant and you're like, wow, what I have right now is not working, making that big push and being like, what else do I want to do? And when I had that one rental and found self-storage, I was like, I'm gonna buy a self-storage facility before you're born. And so making that happen, like I was relentless. The biggest part to this was there was no doubt in my mind that it wasn't gonna happen. And so when I would talk to my dad, right, about, my dreams and all these things, and he's like, why would you wanna do storage wars? Like literally he thought I was gonna do storage wars. I was relentless underwriting storage deals every single afternoon while training people in my gym while pregnant with her. And finally, when deals start to make sense, they make sense. And that is when I finally pulled the trigger. And the joke in the family was, is the baby gonna come first or is the storage facility gonna come first? And I actually gave birth to her. And then 6 weeks later, we closed on a facility in Louisiana. And so she came with me 10 weeks old to close on that facility. And it really was life-changing. I had no idea at this time what I was getting myself into as being a new mom, being a new parent, breastfeeding, traveling, and then also writing the SBA plans with her strapped to my chest. But I am so glad that I went through it. And, this has really allowed me to set me up for success and us up for success to have life options, like being able to have slow mornings and banana phone with her in the morning is my definition of success. And then being able to
on the boat
and banana phone and and go on the Disney cruise boat is another line of success. Is fun.
Mickey Mouse.
And Mickey Mouse, of course. And so this is a big piece, is like, if you want more, bet on yourself and find those rooms and know that you need to be relentless in what you're going for. And so glad that I found self-storage, and my goal is to own 12 to 15 of these self-storage facilities in the next 3 years and really teach her, like, how do you actually be a good operator? How do you actually own businesses and make money in a different way than what we were taught like in school? So how many no's do you need to get in order to buy your first facility? And so instead of there's a lot of positive and a lot of things that you can do, but I want to talk about what are things that can come up for you. So the no's that you're gonna get before you finally get the yes to buy your first facility. And so I talk about this with my storage school students, is that it is not always rainbows, right? I thought I was going to actually buy and invest for my first facility with my dad. It's know, like, and trust. Like I knew, he knew he had some capital. And so for 6 months, I was bringing deals to him, and he was constantly saying no, like, no, this is not good enough. And finally, I came to a realization that his risk tolerance was very different than my risk tolerance. And he never, a deal would never be good enough because he didn't understand what it took to, what is the facility worth, and all these different pieces. And so that was a big wake-up call for me, where I spun my wheels. And so that allowed me to be like, okay, I've got to go find a room of other storage owners and investors who are just like me, who are ready to go, want to operate, want to take some risk, and want to buy a facility and better their lives. And so I actually went to a conference, and that is actually how I met 2 of my business partners today, was randomly at a conference in line together. And so after that conference, we actually continued that, we followed up. And this is the magic between this, is being able to go to a conference, learn, but network, and then follow up to find those partners, the right people in your spaces. And so we actually ended up buying a deal together. I thought I'd be the one to bring the deal. Nope, I had my partner bring that deal to us. And we, within 2 days, decided we were gonna be partners. We asked the hard questions, signed the letter of intent, and that is how we bought the first storage facility. But going through a lot of ups and downs, and I think the interesting part about this and the partnership is trust, right? And knowing, will your partners have your back when things happen? And the very first time I was pregnant, I was 6 weeks until I was due, and my business partners were like, you know what, we're gonna go do due diligence, which is a really important part of saying yes or no to a deal. And I actually had to take the back seat and not do that trip, and I had to trust them. And that was a big part for me as a type A driver, where I was bringing money into this deal. I was signing away my house. And so we laugh now because if I would have went, I would have had a Louisiana baby. But you know, to that point is there's you don't have to buy your first facility by yourself, right? And you don't have to do it by yourself. You can do it with other people, potential partners, as well as being in the room with the right investors. And so that was something that I really had to learn, is to take a step back and decrease that, you know, control and trust that I knew that my partners would have my back. And so I wanted to share this because there is always those ups and downs, but I am so grateful for my partners because they complement me and they are there every thick and thin. You know, when things happen, we get together and we have a vote. We have 3 people in a $3.1 million deal and we vote. It's if it's 2 to 1, it goes in one direction. And so it's a really nice equilibrium balance between, you know, what we want to have happen and then what needs to happen to make the business successful, no matter where we are at in our lives. So very grateful for partnerships, and I really believe them. If you partner with the right people that have complementary skill sets, you can go so much further. My big goal is to own like 15 self-storage facilities in the next like 4 years, and it's all because of her. My daughter, and I get teary about it, but wanting to be a mom and a business owner, that is still very present in her life. And my whole goal is being an example of what's possible. And so that's something that I still battle between is, you know, from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I am CEO, boss of self-storage. And then after that, I shut it off and I am mom mode. And so being able to do that is a life and a season. And my whole goal, you know, with my girl and my family is to be able to have more life freedom and have a teacher summer. And so what that looks like is going on a cruise and for 6 weeks and showing her the world, or taking a Sprinter van and going to all 50 states before she turns 18 so that she gets to have that type of experience and the memories that we get to create. So being very intentional about, you know, why you do certain things and why you stay focused, and those are the bigger pieces, is like I want to have so much fun and memories in addition to knowing that I own businesses and that freedom that it affords for me and my legacy and my family moving forward.